Shalom חברים, today we are doing Pedagogy of the Oppressed, Paulo Freire, with Parashat Tazria. What's the connection? So, we will soon find out. So, Paulo Freire was really a revolutionary educator and philosopher. He was Brazilian, born in 1921, died in 1997. And really, he is the developer of what is known as critical pedagogy, which basically is, I would say, the most important work in kind of breaking the old models of educations that are based on hierarchical structure and dominance. And we will get more to his work and to the book. But suffice it to say that it has been very, very influential all over the world, as well as in Israel. Growing up, this book was used time and time again to explain the innovation in education that took place all around. So, Parashat Tazria, let's dive into a verse from the parasha and then talk about it. והצרוע אשר בו הנגע, בגדיו יהיו פרומים, וראשו יהיה פרוע, ועל שפם יעטה, וטמא טמא יקרא. Okay? What does it mean? It means, and for person with a leprous affliction, the clothes shall be rent, the head shall be left bare, and the upper lip shall be covered over, and that person shall call out impure, impure. So, it's a very important distinction. It's vetameh tameh yikra, meaning who is ikra? It's not that the public pointed at the leper and said, impure, impure. No, it's the leper calling, basically declaring himself tameh, tameh, impure, impure. So, Rashi explains it on pshat, on the surface level. Basically, it said yes. So basically, the one who is infected has to not only show it with his appearance, but also, in case people don't notice, really call it out loud, and call it out loud twice so people know and stay away. However, that was Rashi, and our sages in the Talmud had other ideas for why the infected should call tameh tameh. So this is Masechet Shabbat, the Gemara. אילן שמשאיר פירותיו, סוקרו וצובע אותו בסקרה וטוענו באבנים, בשלמה טוענו באבנים, כי היכי דליחוש חילה. אלא סוקרו בסקרה, מהי רפואה כביד? כי היכי דלחזויה, ינשה ולבוא עליה רחמה, כי דתניא וטמא טמא יקרא, צריך להודיע צערו לרבים, ורבים יבקשו עליו רחמים. Okay, what does that mean? So basically it says that a tree that sheds its fruit prematurely has to be treated. And what is the treatment? There should be a circle of stones put around it to kind of slow down the premature shedding of the fruit. And that those stones have to be painted red. So the Gemara asks, okay, we understand the stones, we understand that this should slow down the premature shedding of the fruit, but why color it in red? So the Gemara concludes, bringing the verse from Tazria, it's so to let the public knows to ask for mercy for that tree. Okay? צריך להודיע צערו לרבים, ורבים יבקשו עליו רחמים. So people know and ignite their empathy, feel sorry for the tree, and pray for the tree. So basically, what the Talmud tells us is that when the leper calls tameh tameh, it's not necessarily so people stay away. It's so that people can pray on them. And this has a really profound lesson, in my opinion. And I can share that personally, I have really big problem asking for help. And I think of an examples where I'm stuck without childcare and I could easily call a friend or a neighbor, hey, can you come watch my kids? No, I will look for a babysitter and pay tons of money just not to ask favor, just not to ask for help. It would take me a really, really long time to share my troubles with people. And the Gemara or our tradition really, really advise against it. It advises against it because in order for you to be able to really grow in a society, you have to expose some vulnerability. You have to be able to show to other people that you need them. You have to be able to call tameh tameh. And the Rabbi Eyal Vered from Machon Meir even goes further and says that people who usually walk the earth saying, I can figure it out, I don't need anyone. I'm good by myself, I got this all, I don't need anyone. Usually these are people that become judgmental of other people. Because if you say, I don't need anyone's help, you start saying like, oh, this person can't figure that out, or this person cannot do this, and you become really arrogant and really judgmental. And actually, for those of you who know that Parashat Tazria is eventually about Lashon Hara, about the evil tongue, or about talking badly about people, this what brings the talking badly about people is that development of that judgmental quality in you that's saying, I don't need anyone's help. And so now we can really go back to Freire and see how this connects. So in Pedagogy for the Oppressed, one of the things, and really I'm not going to unpack the entire book, but just really talk about one principle, that education must be based on dialogue. And he called it the dialogical approach. And the dialogical approach is made out of three components, which are love, humility, and faith. So you have to truly see the person that's standing next to you in order to begin the educational process and really come out of love. You definitely have to have faith in that student and really, really believe that they can grow and understand and become wiser. But what I want to talk about today is the middle component, which is humility. True dialogue cannot happen without humility, which is exactly what our sages tell us. And I'm going to quote from Freire. Dialogue cannot exist, however, in the absence of a profound love for the world and for people. The naming of the world, which is an act of creation and recreation, is not possible if it is not infused with love. On the other hand, dialogue cannot exist without humility. The naming of the world through which people constantly recreate that world cannot be an act of arrogance. Dialogue, as the encounter of those addressed to the common task of learning and acting, is broken if the parties or one of them lack humility. It's beautiful, and it's almost if Freire knew our Persian and knew that what we really, really need to do is declare ourselves tameh, is declare ourselves impure, to open that possibility. Now, Freire was unapologetically Marxist philosopher, and he viewed the old form of education that he named banking education as basically part of the superstructure of capitalism. So basically, education in the service of capitalism would have the hierarchy where the teacher is dominant, right? And that what Freire sought to break is for that teacher who is an equal part in that dialogue to break that arrogance by showing humility, vulnerability, love, and faith. So I want to give just one more really astonishing example to support this. Actually, the Targum Onkelos which is a 2nd century translation of the Torah to Aramaic, translates our verse, and it translates tzara'at, leprosy, into confinement. So basically in Aramaic it's sgiru, which also holds the root for sagur, closed or confined. And that is really profound. Tzara'at, maybe it comes from tsar, from narrow, I don't really know, but according to Onkelos, tzara'at, the leprosy, the disease itself is confinement. It's us sheltering ourselves and not asking for help. And I'm going to conclude with Freire's words from, not from this book, but from a continuation to this book that was written years later. This was written in 1968, a book called Pedagogy of Hope, which was written in 1992 as a reflection of this book, shortly before Freire died. And he says, "No one liberates themselves by their own efforts alone. Men and women liberate themselves in communion. Dialogue with the people is neither a concession nor a gift, much less a tactic to be used to dominate. Dialogue, as the encounter of men and women to the name the world, is fundamental precondition for their true humanization." Shabbat Shalom.